Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. It starts now. We are live on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. Just go search WYAB if you get outside the listening area. And I am streaming the first segment of the show live on the Facebook, on the Save Jackson Facebook page this morning. So you can go check that out if you want to see it live and in living color. After this first segment, we'll open up the phones. The Mac Hike of Flowood Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. We've got a big show planned for you today. Hey, real quick, I was coming out here to Flora this morning on 49 North, and I've noticed that they have the entire lane, the entire side of the road closed heading into Jackson. Would that be a south, I guess? Well, anyway, whatever direction it is coming from, say, Flora into Jackson, the entire lane is closed. They are diverting traffic into the opposite direction, and I guess it'd be the northbound lane. Never really thought about that. Anyway, I digress. It feels east and west to me. But anyway, if you're coming from Flora into Jackson this morning, or from Yazoo City into Jackson, it's going to be a slow go. They've got it. You're having to merge over into the oncoming traffic, and they got that closed into one lane. So if you're coming from Jackson towards Flora, expect backups. Apparently, they cannot keep Highway 49 from buckling under the heat, and they're having to bulldoze up entire chunks of it and keep you going in the right direction, or keep it from destroying your vehicles. I've been coming out here now for almost 2 years. This is my second summer coming out here to do this show, and this is about the third time I've seen this have to happen. So, hey, so if you're traveling down 49, be careful. It seems to be some really tough spots between Flora and Jackson. All right, so hey, with all that said, it looks like our leader, our potato in office, Joe Biden, I think he is getting sicker. I do. I saw a video of him. They were trying to stream him live to show everybody what kind of condition he was in. He looks rough. I mean, rougher than normal. I mean, he looks like a fully baked potato at this point. So I just want to give a shout out to all the Democrat voters. Thank y'all for destroying this country and helping Joe Biden steal that election. Good job. Good job. Real good job. Thank y'all. Again, just thank you. You know how we thank our servicemen and our policemen for serving the country and keeping our community safe? I just want to thank Democrats. I mean, there may not even be a need for a radio show like this every morning if Trump had still been in office. So, as life goes. All right. Hey, real quick, if anybody needs a job, a buddy of mine has got a mechanic shop out in Brandon. He is looking for somebody. It's an oil change place. He's looking for somebody to, kind of run the sales part and, sell people oil changes, air filters, all that good stuff. Maybe a little bit of topside under the hood work, very minimal. Does not have to be a mechanic, just needs to be dependable and can talk to folks. If you've got a kid or yourself that is interested in a good job out there, right there in downtown Brandon, give me a shout and I will get y'all in touch with each other. Clay@WYAB.com, and I will pass along his information. Good family-owned business and good folks. That's what I got to say about that. All right, so look, if you listen to Friday's show, I said there was probably a good reason why Pearl chased that murderer into Jackson. Alleged murderer. Because, he killed that mailman. Pearl police did not kill that mailman. He killed that mailman. Brandon Andrews, 20 years old. I don't know if you guys listened to Jake Windham's press conference Friday, but Brandon Andrews killed Brad Pennington. And rest in peace, Brad Pennington. Prayers to you and your family. I did share the Gofundme to the Save Jackson Facebook page. if you find it in your heart and your wallet to donate to the family, the details are all there. You can do that. There's also a meal train link, and that is to help feed the family, I believe is how those things worked. I shared both links. You can go check them out. I went and made a small donation last night, the most I could right now. I hope it helps some, but again, the USPS worker, the mailman, letter carrier, I believe is their technical name, that was killed Thursday in Jackson by Brandon Andrews as he ran from the police, and he hit the mail truck. Very sad situation. But, I told you that, you can't just look at it from a police standpoint and say, oh, he's just speeding, I'm going to let him go. You can't look at it like that, because you don't know what type of person is just speeding, or just has an expired tag, or just has their window tint too dark. It could be somebody that's a murderer, somebody that's kidnapped somebody. It could go on and on and on and on. We could make a long list. Well, Pearl compiled that list of just who Brandon Andrews is. And also, ironically, though he did live in Flowood, he was, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to read it all and then I'll give my opinion on it. It says, while the case against Brandon Andrews remains under investigation, here are some potential reasons as to why he didn't stop. Andrews is currently out on felony bond from Flowood Police Department for possession with intent to sell narcotics while in possession of a firearm and possession of a stolen firearm. Andrews is a suspect in a capital murder case, kidnapping and murder in Jackson, because of course it's in Jackson, being handled by the Hinds County DA. Was also charged in 2021, that's just last year for slow folks out there, charged in 2021 for armed robbery and shooting into a vehicle in, of course, Hinds County, and was arrested in Pearl for DUI and speeding in 2021. In Thursday's pursuit, Pearl police officers found a 30-round extended magazine in his car that he tried to hide behind an abandoned house after hitting the mail truck. Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba released a statement Thursday saying, there are often tragic outcomes like this one from minor traffic stops, and we have experienced it before. Not once did Mayor Lumumba condemn Brandon Andrews for running from the police, breaking the law, or causing the death of the postal employee. That is unacceptable. His only blame was on the Pearl Police Department. I don't know if you guys listened to Jake Windham's, Mississippi's mayor, Jake Windham, when he did his press conference, but one of the Antifa BLM reporters we have here at one of the TV stations, JTV, APT, one of those two, insinuated to Jake and asked him the question. I want to make sure I say this right, because I sat out in the AutoZone parking lot for 30 minutes listening to this press conference before I went in, because Jake just went in hot, man. If you haven't heard it, I recommend going and finding it. One of the reporters said, well, do you not think maybe he was running because of Pearl's perceived reputation? And it's obvious. If you live around here, you know what perceived reputation he was hinting around to. There's this myth upon within the Democrat death culture that police are somehow racist because they pull over black folks. They, are breaking the law, mind you. Not pulling over random good law-abiding citizens. They're pulling over people who are breaking the law. And if that just happens to be black folks from Jackson or wherever, then that's who's getting pulled over. No different than if it's white folks from Pearl or white folks from Brandon or black folks from Pearl or black folks from Brandon, or in this case, a black guy from Flowood. Pearl enforces the law. If you're breaking the law, you're going to get dealt with in Pearl. We all know this. I grew up in South Jackson in the 90s, got my driver's license in 92. As far back as 1992, I knew you don't mess around in Pearl. You don't do it. You didn't mess around in Jackson too much then either. And no coincidence that Dean Scott was on JPD then. First time I ever got pulled over, I've told this story on here a dozen times. First time I ever got pulled over on McDowell Road, it was by Dean Scott. Dean Scott made me pour out 2 cases of beer, 15 years old on McDowell Road. I can't remember the little side street there, but it was right there where the Leaning Photography House was on McDowell Road. It finally got torn down. Was it Fulton's Photography or Bruckner's Photography? One of those right there. The old blue house on McDowell Road at the red light there. Got pulled over right there by Dean Scott. Anyway, I digress. Don't play around in Pearl. Everybody knows. You mess around in Pearl, you're going to find out. Brandon Andrews found out. You don't mess around in Pearl. And unfortunately, he killed an innocent man, took a father from his child, took a husband from his wife in the meantime, while in the process of him finding out. I hope they charge him with capital murder, and I hope they fry him. That's how I feel about it. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines. The Mac Hike of Flowood phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. I've got some clips of Kenneth Stokes running his mouth, and I've even got some of Kenneth Stokes' greatest hits queued up. And I'm going to play them on the other side of this break. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back in to The Clay Edwards Show live here on 103.9 WYAB. Streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. This segment is going to be brought to you by Mac Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowood, located right there at 4000 Lakeland Drive. That's right over there at Airport Road, just so you know, where Airport Road and Lakeland Drive intersect there, over kind of across from the movie theater. You know where it is, man. Huge car lot. Huge car lot right on Lakeland Drive. You can check them out online at MacHikeCDJRF.com. That's Chrysler Jeep Ram Flowood. And look, they got a huge inventory out there. Your management team is the best in the area, in my humble opinion. I've known these guys, worked with 2 of them for over 10 years, and worked with, I think I've worked with all those guys, honestly. But neither here nor there. Great folks, Corey, Brandon, Abe, Parker, and Hunter, and Brendan. I think I said everybody's name. Anyway, go out there, Mac Hike, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Flow. We get you a big Ram truck. Get you a Dodge Charger, Challenger, Chrysler 300. Man, they got some nice cars out there. And I'll tell you, those Hellcat, the Hellcat Chargers and Challengers are something else. They got the new Wagoneers also. That, I'll tell you what, I've always been a fan of the Wagoneer, going all the way back to that. What was that show with John Candy, where they went on he was out in the wilderness or whatever. He had one of those Wagoneers. And I think Kathy Bates, or whatever her name was, in the movie Misery, I think she had a Wagoneer in that too. But I always liked the Jeep Wagoneer anyway. And they got the new ones. They have come a long way. Moral to my story. If you've looked at Tahoes and Suburbans and Expeditions and stuff of that nature, high-end, luxury, American-made SUVs, I implore you to go check out the Wagoneer before you pull the trigger on one of those other ones. You will not be disappointed. Very impressive vehicle. Very impressive. And it's available right there. Mac Hike, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Flowood. Tell them you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show. All right, so I've gotten some text on the Guns and Gear text line since the break here. And somebody says, Pearl police do have some responsibility in this. Did they know he was a murderer when they started the chase? If not, it was just a traffic violation. I disagree. Also, let's suggest that they had possibly ran his tag before they actually started the high-speed pursuit. You know, a lot of times a cop will get behind a car, run the tag, then hit the blue lights. That does happen. So we don't know how that unfolded. But when he decided to hit the gas instead of the brake, all gas, no brakes, when he decided to go that method, the rules are out the window. It doesn't matter. I know it sucks terribly that it ended the way it did. But it ended the way it did because Brandon Andrews hit that gas instead of that brake. That's why it ended like that. All right, we got a call on the Mac Hike of Flowood phone line. It appears that we have got sorry about that. It appears we have got Thomas calling in. Thomas, you're on there?
Man, I can't even describe what you sound like this morning.
A man in charge.
It's like, listen, man, you trying to get the world or Jackson or Pearl or whoever, these people on this radio, to make up for what a criminal did versus a man's life.
These are the consequences and repercussions of what happens when you run from the law.
Listen, Clay, psychology will tell you that if he a criminal, he going to run. We can't account for that with a loss of life. Now, the police ought to been the psychology training to know that, look, man, and common sense training, the people in Jackson are more than likely outside or whatever you got going on. You got a high population. You can't come through there like you Dukes of Hazzard. That's the problem. You white people love to mud sling and drive cars. Why? This ain't NASCAR, man.
Then
why you looking for the thrill of? You sound like you like the thrill of a police chase. But then somebody died, you want to blame it on the criminal who having a psychological issue.
The criminal had a psychological issue?
In this matter. This ain't no racetrack, man.
Then why did the criminal turn it into one?
I can't account for a criminal. We talking about some common sense, police officers, police department. Then you got mayors, city councilmen, you got a governor, you got a legislative body who got more common sense than a criminal to know that you ain't supposed to be treating this like this NASCAR. This ain't no racetrack, man.
It's the Pearl 500. Thanks, Thomas. All right, on the line here. Hey, brother, you on there?
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing?
Hey, Derek, how are you?
Hey, listen, man. You're not going to reason with a fool. Remember, even the good book says nothing matters to a fool. They're going to always make excuses for people, like I said, whose home life sucks, and then they end up sucking as a person. And then it has to be your fault or my fault or society's fault, okay? If this is the way we're really going to run society, then why in the HE hockey stick did we tell people to shoot for the American dream? And we're going to always make excuses for these failures, these losers. You understand?
Absolutely.
I'm sickened by it. I'm sickened when people try to place the blame everywhere except where it goes. And that's the home life, the parenting or lack thereof. And then overall, the person, the individual himself. He killed a man based on recklessness, okay? You cannot blame the police for that. Now, should the pursuit have happened again? Statute-wise, he's covered under state statutes for pursuit. Now, but if they're going to be passive on crime, saying he was chased for a small, petty charge, then you don't get the overall underlying theme of how law enforcement works. Do you remember when Rudy Giuliani was mayor of New York?
Yes.
His whole strategy was to, curtail petty crimes, start from the bottom to the top, because any good policeman knows that every crime begins with a petty crime. You catch major offenders with petty crimes. You understand? It could be that simple traffic stop or that brake light that's out or that tail light that's out. That was the whole basis behind TCAP, Traveling Criminal Apprehension Program, back when in my early years of law enforcement, which the something for nothing crowd had to try to label it as another form of racism and racial profiling, and it wasn't. Okay? If I pull you over and you got a brake light out and then you raise my suspicion and I search you, you may have a body in the trunk. You may have drugs, planted somewhere around the vehicle. Everybody knows that the only way you curtail high-volume crime is to start from the bottom all the way to the top.
Agreed, 100%, Derek. I'm sitting here looking at the rest of Pearl's statement that Mayor Jake Windham released on Friday, and he put something in here that I did think was interesting. It was right below where I'd cut off reading. It says 99% of people pulled over for minor traffic stops, the ones that run, have sinister reasons for not stopping.
Yeah, this is true.
Think back to a couple months ago. It was the Monday morning we were coming back from Talladega, me and my friends, and I was out of town when this happened, but a guy came flying through that same area, but he was coming from Jackson. He was, or through Jackson, should I say. He was going east, and he got to Flowood, and that interdiction team had somebody else pulled over. He goes flying by. They have a shootout with this guy in the middle of the median there. He's trying to shoot the cops while he has kids with him. You'd never know what you're going to run into, and I don't have to tell you, you know. But that's why you pursue these guys. You don't know if that is another case of a guy that maybe has some kids in the car or whatever it could be. You got to pursue. I mean, it's the law. At the end of the day, you pull over. It's the law. Jackson should not be a safe haven for criminals. It's like, if I can just get across the river, if I can just get across the county line, I'm safe. That should not be a train of thought. It shouldn't be escape to Jackson.
And you and I both know in reality Jackson isn't a safe haven for criminals. It's because the leaders have made it that way by their words, by their actions, by people using these little taglines when they run for office like, low recidivism rate, low recidivism rate, low bonds, being charged for frivolous crimes, advanced incarceration rate. It's all false.
They've propped up these drug dealers as ghetto heroes, drug them on the stage with Deion Sanders that stopped the violence rallies with the mayor. Don't tell me it's not a safe haven. I know you're not, but in general, Kenneth Stokes, Lumumba, anybody else, don't tell me it's not a safe haven for criminals. You glorify their actions here. You turn them into ghetto heroes.
You do. And if they put that much energy into pushing dope like they would a gross domestic product, you'll find that it's no different. If you can focus on a trade selling a product other than illegal substances, you will find that same energy that you use to push illegal substances, you can do legal substances, because just about every person I've ever known from the prison system that came out rehabilitated has started to push hard work like they used to do their drugs and have made more money than they ever had as a drug dealer.
Man, I got several buddies. One in particular, he's passed away now. He got paralyzed in a car wreck and died of complications from that. Benji Randall. He went to jail. I want to say it was for drugs. Anyway, no secret that Benji sold drugs. He got out and started working for a roofing company and was one of their top producers selling roofs. He sold roofs like he had that same hustle for selling roof and siding as he did for selling drugs. I'll never forget it, man. He was on fire before his accident. And,
I know a guy did that with dump trucks. He said, man, I'm trying to move this dirt. You know what I mean? Yep. Every time you would talk to him, he said, man, I got to move this dirt. This dirt just can't sit here. And he bought dump trucks, man, and made a killing with a lot of the construction going on in the area from where I'm originally from. It can be done. Don't tell me that drugs is they're only out and out in these poor communities. That's bull crap. And then in most cases, the parent, a lot of times the mother, is an enabler, or the grandmother is an enabler. But people don't want to place the blame on her either. You understand?
Yep. Hey, Derek, I got to take a break, brother. I appreciate it, man. Great call this morning.
Uh-huh.
All right, I got another call on hold. Caller, sit there. I'll get to you as soon as I come back from this break here. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 WYAB. Real quick, this segment is going to be brought to you by our good friends over at Lakeland Glass and Tint, Jason Anderson and the team over there doing big things. If you need your home, car, or business windows tinted, check out Lakeland Glass and Tint. If you need your automobile windshield replaced or repaired, Lakeland Glass and Tint. And last but not least, if you need your vehicle or business walls, windows, or countertops wrapped with your business logo, or you just want to change the color of your car and you don't want to get it painted, check out Lakeland Glass and Tint. They are now doing wraps. All right, on the Mac Hike of Flowood phone line, we had a caller sit on hold through the break. Hey, you on there?
Hey, Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, but since they hit a postman, won't the federal government investigate that young man and Pearl Police?
Well, I believe MBI has taken over the investigation, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. So Pearl's not even handling the investigation right now, if I remember Jake's press conference 100% correctly. So, yeah, MBI has taken over the investigation. I don't know if it becomes federal or how that works exactly. I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah, well, here's what. He didn't, every time we've had a chase like this and somebody got killed, it was always somebody that was a professional person or somebody that was young or somebody that had a family. It ain't like they were hitting other criminals, but
no, it's not like it's not like a gunfight in Jackson where it's a bad guy shooting another bad guy. It is. It's always a bad guy running from the cops, and it kills what, for all intents and purposes, is a good person 99 times out of 99 times.
Do you remember why JPD quit chasing people?
Yeah, there was a wreck right there. Somebody got killed on County Line and Pear Orchard. Was it Pear Orchard or County Line and Ridgewood right there at that intersection? It
was somebody's daughter that owned a car dealership. It was maybe Power Buick or maybe Al East's daughter. Somebody's daughter was wealthy, ended up getting killed.
Yeah, they got sued tremendously over that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was. I don't know if that's why they quit chasing, but that was the linchpin to it.
Well, maybe Pearl City get sued over this. You say what you want to, dude. This dude had a wife and a young kid, man. And they were in a residential neighborhood. They had more common sense than that, dude.
The guy shouldn't have ran, man. I know it sucks, man. I know I sound heartless when I say it, but
no, you don't. No, you don't. It just ticks me off, dude. What if that was your wife or my wife?
It would be it'd be devastating, mother. And I'd be over there kicking in Brandon Andrews' parents' doors if he knows his parents. You know, I'd be pissed.
No, that's true.
You know,
that's true. Well, bet the worst case scenario, the cops should be fired. Be honest person. I don't think they should be prosecuted, but they should be reprimanded, if not fired.
I disagree with you, brother, but you know.
Have a good day.
Yes, sir. And look, and that's the great thing about living in America, right? We can disagree. Me and him agree on a lot of things. We disagree on some things. We're going to disagree on this. Look again, man. Tragic ending. Tragic, but what do you do? It's just like I was saying. Came in on the Guns and Gear text line. The guy that was running a few months ago, they ended up having the shootout and killing himself on the side of the road with those kids in the car. Those kids had been kidnapped. So you get a lot of stupidity in that intersection, in that interchange there, that I-20 right there from the Pearl River Bridge, basically all the way to Alabama. There is a lot of shenanigans that take place right there. I mean, really, the I-20 all the way from Mississippi, the whole stretch of I-20 through Mississippi is used by bad people. And all it takes is one little thing to catch one of them bad people doing something worse. And it sucks, man. My heart goes out. It does. My heart goes out to the family, the Pennington family. Nothing I say, nothing any of us say are going to fix this or bring him back or undo it. But you still can't allow folks to just think, if we can just get into Jackson. That's not fair to Jackson citizens. I know they don't want to understand that right now because they love their ghetto heroes. It's not fair to the citizens of Jackson who ain't about that life. For this administration and for these people to think all you got to do is just get back into Jackson and you'll be safe. That ain't fair. Now, life ain't fair, but that's messed up. All right, we got a call coming in on the Mac Like a Flowwood phone line. I believe this is Lacey. Hey, Lacey, good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to say that if a police is chasing a criminal, that's his job. That's what he was hired for. They are too light on these criminals. And then the people, instead of them looking at what that criminal did, they direct everything to the police who are doing their job. But, you know, a lot of times people look at things in a different manner when it's them, when it's their family. Because if he had a child in the car with him or kill somebody or whatever that was in their family, then they'd be pushing for the police to catch him and to prosecute. But when it's not them, it's like, oh, well, the police just should have let them go. That's why we got so much crime in Jackson right now. That's why it's so bad, because they don't do any. That Brandon guy needs to be prosecuted for whatever crime he did and for the murder of that postal worker. He should be punished for all of that.
And he will be.
Well, I hope so, because I'm sick of these criminals getting away with their crimes because of the stupidity and the poor leadership in Jackson. And Stokes is an idiot.
Yeah, but I got some video of Stokes. I keep meaning to play it, but I've been so fired up, I don't want to give Stokes any extra airtime until I run out of things to raise hell about.
I can tell you about Stokes. He eats too much and he don't think enough. He ignorant. He's an idiot.
Where do I apply? For that position?
and Thomas is a criminal himself. That's why he thinks like he does, because in reality, that boy is a criminal. Okay. I wouldn't put my dog in the room with him.
Criminal insanity. Okay. Criminally insane.
I wouldn't place a dog in the room with Thomas. Thomas, he's sick. But anyway, you just keep doing what you're doing, because you're touching a lot of ears that wouldn't get this or any of this if it weren't for you and Kim Wade. So y'all just keep coming.
I appreciate you, Lacey. I hope you had a blessed weekend. Stay safe out there this week.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, thank you, Lacey, for calling in. I got a text here from a buddy of mine in JPD on the Guns and Gear text line. And he says this. He says, JPD chases people. Not sure where everyone says they do not. There is a policy that says we do not chase nonviolent offenders. So my question was, how is it determined if it is or isn't violent? Is it just simply they do not chase traffic violations? And the reply is this: identifying the person in the vehicle. If they commit a crime and the officer sees it, then pursues. Also, we chase until we deem it unsafe, i.e., what happened Thursday. So that is from a buddy of mine. I won't say his name here. That works for JPD, texting in. So take that as you will. All right, I got another text here. It says, they will never know until they're in our shoes. Tell them to go to the academy and do things differently. That's just referring to callers calling in. That's another friend in law enforcement. You know, that's a big thing there. Let me see here. Josh texted in and says, bring back the Jump Out Boys from Hinds County. They did a heck of a job fighting crime in the 90s. And I heard a little birdie told me the other day, them Jump Out Boys are back, but they're back with the Capitol Police. So if you're messing around downtown, watch your back. Watch your back. Or don't. Better yet, don't watch your back. Because I would love to see the Jump Out Boys do what they do. Jackson's always been its best when we had a good crew of Jump Out Boys. And look, I know there's still some out there, but man, when you got an administration like this that just won't allow police to do police stuff, I hate it for y'all guys, man. I tell you what, man, you should all be making $100,000 a year, and you should all have schools named after you, streets named after you. But when you retire, if you stay on JPD or Pearl PD or any other PD, Brandon, Hinds County, Capitol Police, whatever, if you stay long enough to retire from there, you should get a street named after you in whatever city you served. I truly believe that. And I just think that would be something cool. Fred Shanks, if you're listening out there, let's see if we can't get a law drawn up, get a bill, whatever you want to call it, for next session. Let's start naming some streets after these law enforcement. Let's start just the way Jackson puts its ghetto heroes up on a pedestal. Let's start putting our law enforcement up on a pedestal and putting some respect back on their names. Tell you what, let's play this. I got a little snippet here. Let's bring the temperature down just a little bit before we take this last break of the first hour. I got a clip here of Kenneth Stokes' greatest hits. It's only about a minute long. Let's revisit some of Stokes' brighter comments.
Your mom. Because we're going to ask the question, who killed the man? Now, you know, we feel like Bella was at our pops.
And then you have a hog-head lying bastard like Duke who trying to make like it's the city of Jackson against all law enforcement.
What is your response to him calling you a hog-head lying bastard? I have no comment, Ross.
What do I think should be done? Bricks, rocks, and bottles would stop this nonsense.
I want you to go talk to this gentleman here. Ask him how he flush his toilet. They house smell like boo-boo. Raw boo-boo.
Allegations that the mayor is doing drugs.
I have never done any drugs in my life.
Liar.
And that is foolish.
Liar.
You need to leave that dope alone.
You haven't.
He need to leave that dope alone.
You have any evidence?
He's lying, Lumumba. I'm telling the truth, Kenneth Stokes.
Tell the truth, Kenneth Stokes. While I do not agree with 99.9% of what Stokes says, I do tend to agree with him concerning the mayor's drug intake. But that's just my opinion. I do not represent the opinion of this radio station or our sponsors or partners. All right, look, man, let's take a break real quick. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. The phone lines are wide open. The Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line, 601-879-0002, as well as the Guns and Gear text line. They're loaded up. I'm going to read them all when we come back. 769-241-1944. Thomas is still texting, too, so we'll see what Thomas has to say after his last phone call. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Necessary. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Real quick, on the Guns and Gear text line, somebody asked, what is a jump out boy? And a jump out boy, in the best way I can describe it, is a crew of your roughest and rowdiest, no nonsense, never miss a workout cops that ride around in unmarked vehicles, 9, 10, 12 of them, a vehicle or 2 or 3. And when they see some fools doing some nonsense, whether it's in a gas station parking lot or whatever, they pull out and they jump out and they regulate. And that's what a jump out boy is. And I'm sure we can get somebody to call in and maybe give us a better technical term. But it's some dudes you don't want to mess with. If you're up to no good in somewhere that has a crew of jump out boys riding around, you don't want to mess around. You will find out. So I was trying to text the reply there. I said, I think that they're still listening. Better yet, I'll just explain that on the radio, because there may be some other folks that aren't familiar with what a jump out boy is. If you've ever been doing any dirt somewhere and the crew of police and unmarked cars rolled up, you know what a jump out boy is. Let's see here. On the Guns and Gear text line, says, I'm still amazed that Jackson leaders continue to address the dressings of crime and ignore the recipe. Jackson does not have the manpower to maintain a curfew, and how will a curfew result in black males not wanting to destroy other black males? This is pure madness. We all want less crime, but we don't want to address the root cause of the crime. Our adjacent cities must chase lawbreakers, or else those cities become Jackson. Our leadership in Jackson is a mess, a plum mess, a cesspool mess, a bastion of bowel movements. That may be one of the best texts this show's ever gotten on the Guns and Gear text line, so thank you for that text. And it is, and we'll talk about that curfew and whatnot too. And I got some more audio of Kenneth Stokes. He's mad at Jake Windham, and we'll discuss that here on the other side of the top of the hour news. If you want to call in, the Guns and Gear text line, the Guns and Gear phone line. I can't even talk, y'all. Y'all know it. Mac Hike Flowwood, a phone line, 601-879-0002. We'll be right back after this break. Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 WYAB. I completely butchered the phone or text line as I was going to the last break, so let me try it one more time. The Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line is 601-879-0002. Phone lines are wide open if you want to call in. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. And with that being said, this segment is going to be brought to you by Guns and Gear, located right out there in Madison, Mississippi on Highway 51 next to Little Willie's Meat Market out there. Look, man, they're the home of no limit ammo. Go buy as much as your wallet can afford. I'm looking here at their website. They've got Sig Sauer, Smith & Wesson, Beretta, Tikka, Glock. I see, looks like if you buy an APX A1, you get a $100 rebate. So they've got all kind of good stuff going on out there. They got the Ruger LCP Max. Let's see. Of course, they got the Glock stuff. Look, doing Smith and Wesson. They're doing gunsmithing and everything out there. Cerakoting is your one-stop shop. Check out gunsandgearms.com or go out there and see them in person right there in Madison. And again, we appreciate them sponsoring the text line here on the Clay Edwards Show. All right. So speaking of the Guns and Gear text line, we've got a few texts here. Let's clear them out before we get started with some other stuff. It says, let's see. It said, Pearl Police has some responsibility in this. They did they know he was a murderer when they started the chase? If not, it was just a traffic violation. And it said, then they also say, same person, I have no problem with busting someone when they break the law. I'm all for cops who do their jobs the right way. I'm also all for common sense as well. I'm sure Pearl has some good common sense cops, but they also have some who believe the law don't apply to them. I've seen them countless times hauling butt down Napoleon Avenue with no blue lights. I'm not talking about 50 or 55 miles per hour. I hear them floor it when they turn on Napoleon. I constantly see them use blue lights to get through a red light, then turn them off. When they're through it, I'm not anti-cop, but the law applies to them too. If they're breaking the law to uphold the law, it's a problem. Hey, if that's happening, I agree with you. I do. I think they're in the same. They must abide the same laws we must. So I'm with you there. Let's see here. Zach from Jackson says a verb is an action word. Police is not only a noun, but also a verb. Police are employed to enforce the law. All laws within their jurisdiction. When anyone does not pull over, when the cops turn on the blue lights behind them, there is a serious reason why. They could be wanted for murder, rape, have 20 pounds of meth in the car, or like Brandon, be a felon in possession of a stolen firearm. And says JPD is a joke. Let's see here. More on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, according to Windham, they did not know his criminal history until the pursuit started. But hey, with that said, once you decide to go all gas, no brakes, it's on you. I'm not going to fault the cops. I'm sorry. I know it ended poorly. It ended terribly. Nothing I say is gonna polish the turd of the way it ended. But you have to do that 99 times. Out of 99 times. Otherwise, the Jackson criminality would think that they can do that in Pearl. You owe that to the citizens of Pearl not to allow that there. And you owe it to the citizens of Jackson not to let Jackson be a safe haven. I'm sorry. That's tough. It wasn't my family member. It's a lot easier for me to get up here and say it because it wasn't. It wasn't me. It ain't my family having to plan a funeral today. I get that. I swear to God I do. But you cannot let lawlessness rule the day. You can't. You cannot do it. All right. I got another clip of Stokes here mad at Mayor Jake. Let's play this. This is courtesy of WLBT. It's about a minute long.
Kenneth Stokes has some strong words for the mayor of Pearl following his comments regarding the high-speed chase that ended in Jackson and killed a postal worker. Now, Mayor Jake Windham said his police officers were only doing their job during the deadly high-speed chase Thursday, and the man they arrested
not sure
is to blame for the fatal crash. During a press conference the following day, the mayor was also critical of Jackson, even calling the capital city a safe haven for criminals. Amen. Councilman Stokes was not happy about that statement, and he had this response.
Tell the mayor I said that's and he knows it. We have over 100-some thousand citizens in this city. We're not safe haven anybody any more than Pearl safe haven in someone. We're against crime like he's supposed to be against crime.
A 20-year-old Brandon Andrews is the suspect in the incident. Police were trying to stop him for...
All right, y'all get the point. Stokes said that Jackson got 100,000 citizens. I bet 70,000 of them got warrants. I'm curious how many people in Jackson actually have a valid driver's license. And the number's way more than 100,000. I mean, there's still a lot of people that have left Jackson that ain't changed the census because they need them schools over in Rankin County. But, look, man, y'all know I worked in the car business for a long time, and I was in the nightclub business. And two things you got to have. Well, one thing you have to have to enter either or. You got to have a driver's license to buy a car, and you got to have an ID to get into a club. You'd be boondoggled. Is that a word? We just made up a new word. Boondoggled at how few people have an ID, much less a driver's license in the city of Jackson. I'm getting a little off the beaten path here. But I know that's one reason why they run, because they ain't got a driver's license. Or and they don't keep an ID because they got warrants. So they can lie about who they are if they ain't got an ID. We used to deal with it at the club all the time. It was a nightmare. All right, we got a call here on the Mac Hike of Flowood phone line. Let's see here. All right, hey, caller, you're on there.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. I've been listening to the comments that people were making, but I wanted to go back a little bit and say that maybe people need to look at the children nowadays. That they're reared so much differently than my parents were. We were afraid of doing things wrong. Plus, our parents taught us when we were growing up, and the teachers taught us that there's something in a name. When we went out, we represented. My parents taught us we representing that last name. That's our name. You go ahead and do something wrong, it not only reflects on you, it reflects on us. And I care a lot about our name. And they taught us to honor our name. So maybe that, and then all of a sudden later on they came on when I mean later, much later, nowadays that if you start whipping your child or disciplining your child, and they go to school with a whip on them or something like that, you can be arrested. But I remember years ago when I was living out in Madison, lots of time, not only I, of the other school students, we had whips on us. But did we go and get arrested or get in any trouble? Most of us didn't. We respected that fact. And I think that, people seem to think that police were no different back then, I think, than they are now. Maybe even tougher back then than they are now. But our parents taught us to respect authority. That's all I had to say. But
I really appreciate it.
Look like people just they're losing track. They said, I'm not going to blame the person that's doing it. I'm going to blame the police. And I truly hate that young man got killed. I really do. It bothers me, and I pray for him and for his family, and to be able to get over it, and be able to handle it. Well, the good Lord will bless them to deal with it. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, brother.
What a great level-headed phone call. And I was thinking, it took everything in me not to interrupt because he got me fired up there. As he was speaking, he brought up two great points. The first, the respect for your family name. Wow, that was so powerful. The respect for your family name. And when you go out there and you tarnish this name, it tarnishes everybody in the family. I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it. Tarnishes everybody in the family's name. We all carry that name. And I was thinking as he was saying that, and, I hate having to take it back to this common denominator here, but when you remove the father from the home, the respect for the father's name or the family name goes with it. That's just I don't want to say that's just my opinion, but I would probably say there's people out there driving their cars right now thinking, I'm glad you said it. That's what I was going to say. So that's my opinion on that. We got to get these fathers back in the homes. That's the other thing. You got a good, strong father in the home. You're not going to have your daughter out there with a bunch of bastard children. You're going to raise her to have a real relationship. and for the kids to have the father's last name, even if they're not married. I'm getting a little off the beaten path here, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And furthermore, to what the man who just called in said about police today versus police from yesteryear, but he said he believed they may have even been a little tougher then. All right, but for the most part, believes they're the same policemen doing the same police work. You didn't have the magnifying scope of social media 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Now, everybody is a law enforcement expert. Everybody has an opinion. I'm no different. This is just my opinion. And I fall on the side of law enforcement today. We're all entitled to our opinion, but everybody's got a platform. You don't have to just be on the radio to have a write for the newspaper or be on the TV to be able to voice your opinion to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. All you need is a social media network account. And you got all this stuff coming from everywhere. Yeah, think of how many people, when I was 20 years old, out raising hell, and something like this happened, I probably would have never even heard about it happening. I wouldn't have known. I wasn't watching the news. I wouldn't read the newspaper. Back in 96, 97, 98, I was partying, having fun, doing drugs, drinking, the whole 9 yards. Imagine how many people would not even know about this right now if it wasn't for social media. Kids don't watch the news. When I say kids, I mean, under 21, whatever, out partying, breaking the law, doing all that stuff. So social media has given a lot of people a platform. They really ain't got no business having a platform, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, that was a great phone call. I appreciate that. Look, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to come back. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Hey, welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters. Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters in Pearl wants to help you determine who to use when you are seeking roof repair or work on your gutters. You need to choose a qualified, certified company that has a local brick and mortar building and a company that has been in business for longer than 2 years and a company that also offers a warranty. Complete Exteriors has a 4.9 Google review and has been in business for over 16 years. Complete Exteriors Roofing and Gutters can provide you with a professional and honest look at your roof and gutters. Complete Exteriors, quality without compromise. When you want someone you can trust, contact CompleteExteriorsMS.com. And as always, they have their Roofs for Troops rebate program. Get $250 off a new roofing system for all active and retired military veterans. All right. Real quick, I don't know. I watched the NASCAR race yesterday. I hadn't been watching much this year. And I was like, gosh, I hate Denny Hamlin. Don't like Kyle Busch a whole lot more. And they finished 1 and 2. And Denny wrecked the driver I was pulling for, Ross Chastain, on his way to that win. And, karma, chameleon. Denny and Kyle Busch got disqualified and the win taken from them and moved to the last 2 spots in the finishing order. And Chase Elliott was named the winner. That has not happened since 1960, I believe, in NASCAR, where they turned over a win. The last 50, 60, 70 years, they've just deducted the points, and you still got to keep the trophy and all that stuff. So kudos to NASCAR for doing the right thing. And that means that Chase Elliott has won like 4 of the last 5 races, or 3 of the last 4, and finished second in another one. That's insane. He is on a tear. So that's your sports update from the Clay Edwards Show, WYAB Sports Desk. And Vince McMahon steps down from the WWE. That is interesting because it is not because he wanted to. I can assure you. I got that news broke Friday. I was sitting at my desk and saw that, and look, y'all know me, man. I'm not ashamed of being a wrestling fan. I love good entertainment. I love a good soap opera. I love some drama. But the behind the scenes drama in WWE is as good or better than that television show Succession. I love keeping up with the drama more so than the actual wrestling or sports entertainment stuff. Anyway, just wanted to get that off my chest before we went any further. Let's see here, man. Y'all have lit up the Guns and Gear text line this morning. Thank y'all so much. We got a couple texts here. It says, I believe this is from Sylvia. She goes, I am sick of Thomas. He is an ignorant N-word. Brandon Andrews is the only person at fault. Now, Brad's family will file a lawsuit for sure. I'm totally against Brad's family suing. They will try to get rich quick. Yes, the tragic outcome, Pearl Police did the right thing. We cannot be soft on crime. One more thing, Antar is a spineless, immature racist. Touche. And Sylvia also says, Kenneth Stokes is a sad joke. He is a spineless, immature racist too. These criminals run to Jackson because it's safe. It's a safe haven for them. The law cannot be ignored. And let's see here. The more guns and gear text line stuff. She has according to Windham, they did not know his criminal history until after the pursuit. Can we meet in the middle and say that both Brandon Andrews and the cops made less than perfect decisions that day? Ultimately, it's a sad situation all the way around. I can't meet in the middle because I have to be firm in my beliefs. And and being firm in your beliefs sometimes is uncomfortable. And my firm belief is you have to pursue. And I hate the outcome. And there may be a time where I have to get on this radio show one day and say that I lost a family member because of a pursuit over a speeding traffic stop or whatever the case may be. And at that point in time, I may feel different about it, obviously. But right now, that is my belief. And I appreciate you standing firm on yours. But I'm going to stand firm on mine. And hey, look, man, we're a big family here. We're not always going to agree on everything. So it's okay to disagree. Let's see here. Officer is guilty of doing his job. The man who ran is guilty of everything else. That on the Guns and Gear text line. All right, one more text. So what's scary is that Thomas provides mental health services and bills the state of Mississippi. That's somebody that knows Thomas personally there. So interesting. Yep. Thomas might need a little mental health. And hey, look, man, they got that new mental health 911 number. I think it's 988. If you're having a mental health issue, don't be afraid to talk about it with somebody. I had a good long conversation myself with a good friend of mine Saturday afternoon. And I tell you, it was a very, very good conversation. I talk about this a lot. Don't be scared, man. As men, we're a lot of times we think it's weak to show weakness. And I think it's very, very strong to not be afraid to show weakness. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Just talk to somebody. Y'all know my number. You can always text me, call me, whatever. If I don't answer, shoot me a text, tell me who it is. Get so many robocalls now. I don't answer the phone much. Shoot me a text. Say, hey, Clay, this is so-and-so. I just need somebody to talk to. I'll pick up that phone and talk with you. I absolutely will. I'll be your 988. I promise you have my word on that. All right, man, let's shift gears here. So Jackson is sitting at, I think it's 79 homicides. Well, I broke down, if you follow my Save Jackson page, that's Save JXN across all social media platforms. I was sitting at my desk for Saturday morning, drinking some coffee, and I put a little chart together here. And I got my numbers courtesy of CJ LeMaster's hard work over at the WLBT Homicide Tracker, so I cannot take credit for the numbers, but I did put these together here because I wanted to bring a point. Let's see here. I'm pulling up WLBT to see if the number has updated any. All right, we're still at 79 homicides for 2022, and I believe that includes the Brad Pennington in there because that was a homicide in Jackson. These numbers were through July 23rd. So what I did here, July 23rd, 2016, Jackson was sitting at 38 homicides. So all these dates are going to be July 23rd, so I don't have to repeat that. 2017, 32 homicides. 2018, 57 homicides. 2019, 56 homicides. 2020, 63 homicides. 2021, 84 homicides. And 2022, 79 homicides. Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba was sworn into office on July 3rd, 2017, and you can see a visible spike in homicides year over year moving forward at that point. Let's see here, because I want to say that Jackson was sitting at around 20-some-odd homicides when Antar took office in 2017, And it finished with, let's see, sorry guys, I know this sounds terrible. I'm trying to do this live time here. Now, anyway, there was almost another 40 homicides the second half of the year, from 40 or 50, from when Antar was sworn in to the end of the year. There was more than twice what the number was. Anyway, it's just when he took over, the spike in murders shot through the roof, and it hasn't come back down. I still believe we'll finish the year with over 160. And there's a part of me that says it could be well over 200 if everything you believe about food shortages and stuff ends up coming true. Because a hungry belly will make some fools do some irrational things. It will make me do some irrational things with my family hungry. So if there's food on your table and there ain't food on mine, there's going to be food on mine. You know, and I think criminals look at it the same way. So we're set to have a very wild second half of the year with the November midterms coming up, the Democrats' refusal to take their foot off our necks, our throats, their knees on the back of our necks like we're George Floyd or something. Democrats treating us like we're George Floyd. Not today, Satan. Not today. All right. Let's see here. Did y'all see? I'll tell you what. Got a bunch of stuff. I want to talk about an entire police department quitting or turning in their resignations in Kenneally, North Carolina. And, of course, social media is trying to make it all about race. It ain't about race. It's about dumb Democrats. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary, but one rule I will never break is calling Kroger Krogers, or even worse, even a worse offense, the Krogers. It's called Kroger. You're not going to the Krogers. Now, you may have to shop at multiple Krogers to find what you're looking for, but that's rare. You're not doing that. You're going to Kroger. I did a video about this yesterday on my TikTok, and I shared it to Save Jackson. Apparently, y'all thought it was as funny as I did. But there's a battle royale going on in the Save Jackson Facebook page in the comment sections of my Kroger video. Where do you stand? Is it Kroger or Kroger's? I mean, the video clearly shows a picture of the front of the building, and it just says Kroger. So we will not be breaking that rule here on the Clay Edwards Show. All right. Look, hey, something else. You know, I made this post yesterday before I get to this news story about the whole police department quitting. I made a post last night. I was looking at some stuff, and I got some stuff on Benny Thompson too. You know, we got to hold Benny Thompson to the same standard that we hold conservatives to whenever they take a picture with or support someone who later commits a crime, and we act like they knew about it all along, and they must be punished for having a photo with or supporting somebody that did something stupid down the road. We got to hold Benny to that, and we're going to get to that. But I made this post here. I said, I wish Democrats were as interested in arresting and prosecuting each other for the corruption in Jackson, Mississippi, as they were arresting and prosecuting a couple mega momos for a little sightseeing tour on January 6th in the Capitol. Crickets in Jackson. Crickets. Racism. We can't arrest and prosecute each other. We can't do that. That's racist. This is systemic racism. There's money to steal. There's zoos to keep open. There's potholes to leave unattended to. There's water bills to keep screwing up. There's consulting firms to pay big money to so I get kickbacks to my campaign fund. There's water companies to sue instead of using the city attorneys so I can get 30% of the $90 million. Oh, I can go on and on. There's so much corruption and so little give a damn by the people that have the ability to actually do anything. And that, my friends, is why Jackson, Mississippi will forever be a cesspool. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if one day the entire police department quits there like they did in Kenly, North Carolina. Let's check this story out because I started seeing this surface on social media a little bit. And look, real quick, if you want to chime in, the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. This is from the New York Post. I started seeing this surface yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday, that an entire police force quit because of the city hired a black city manager. Now, she is black, but that is the least part of the story. That is not why they quit. I do not know a single person that would quit because somebody is black. People have gotten way past that. I will gladly go to war with anybody black, just as I will see anybody white, Mexican, Asian, or any other demographic out there. But anyway, it says an entire North Carolina police force has quit in protest at the town's newly hired progressively responsible town manager, who the police chief said created a hostile work environment. Kenly Police Chief Josh Gibson made the shocking announcement in a Facebook post on Thursday, saying the assistant town manager and a key clerk had joined him and his 5 officers in quitting in protest. Quote, I have put in my 2-week notice along with the whole police department. He wrote of the force he has served for 21 years. The new manager has created an environment I do not feel we can perform our duties and services to the community, he wrote. Justine Jones, who just took the position early last month, he made it official with a formal letter of resignation to Jones herself, according to a copy obtained by WRAL. It says noting that he was the longest running chief in the area, or noting that he was the longest running chief in the area. He said he felt his force had recently made substantial progress in dealing with unspecified ups and downs. Let's see. However, due to the hostile work environment in the town of Kenly, I do not believe progress is possible, he told Jones, without identifying her as the source of the complaint, as he had done on social media. Neither the post nor his letter spelled out specific grievances the other officers had against Jones. However, the exiting police chief told WRAL he would consider staying if Jones was dismissed. The town called for a closed emergency meeting on Friday night. Jones declined to discuss the drastic move, telling WRAL she was not at liberty to talk because of a personal matter. She had started the job on June 2nd after a nationwide search, according to a statement celebrating the hiring of a manager hailed for having worked in progressively responsible positions in several states. The release did not mention, however, she had sued a previous employer in a neighboring South Carolina for racial discrimination after she was fired in March of 2015. She accused Richland County leaders of hostile treatment and for not paying her fairly because she was black and had a disability, court docs show. She also accused the county of discriminating against her because she was a whistleblower who reported serious fraud, wrongdoing, and violations of the law. The lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed in April of 2017, court records show, without elaborating on why. Before getting hired by Kenly, she was listed herself as principal CEO of her own consulting company. Word of mouth, real time, her LinkedIn shows. And let's see here. I'll just finish this last sentence. Meanwhile, Johnston County Sheriff Steve Bizzle assured WRAL that his deputies would be stepping up to cover for the missing Kenly cops. Quote, I will be there for the people of Kenly, and they can rest assured they will have deputies patrolling the streets, he insisted. So my thoughts, nobody wants to work for progressives. Nobody wants to work for Democrats. If that lady had been let's just pick a random black lady here, Candace Owens or Miss Sylvia or Miss Lacey that call into this show, them police would have loved working for them. But you know what it is. She get in there and it's that social justice nonsense. It's that, well, we're not gonna arrest people for this. And if you don't know what a city manager is, it's kind of like a mayor. You know, but mayors come and go. So they'll hire a city manager to keep things, in check so police chiefs aren't getting cycled through every time there's a new mayor. Y'all know what it is. Don't nobody want to work with Democrats. Y'all ruin everything. Everything. Everything you touch, you ruin. And Miss Sylvia texted in and asked for me to make a correction. She says, Clay, the public thinks I called him an N-word and not the other N-word. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. She said the N-E-G-R-O. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on the radio. She didn't say the big N-word when discussing Brandon Andrews or Thomas, one or the other. Anyhow, so just to clear that up for Miss Sylvia there. But again, nobody wants to work for Democrats. Y'all stop. Let's see here. Benny Thompson. I thought this was rich. And I'm telling you, man, we got to hold them to the same standard they try holding everybody else to. Back on May 4th, Congressman Benny G. Thompson, congratulations to Mr. Timothy Harrington on graduating from the University of Mississippi with his bachelor's in business administration. Timothy is a resident of Grenada, Mississippi. Keep up the good work. And Y'all Politics brought to our attention an Ole Miss grad recently recognized by Homeland Security Chairman Congressman Benny G. Thompson was arrested today and charged with the murder of transgender Jimmy J. Lee. Isn't it always? They get their tentacles involved in everything. I would love to know what happened. So let's pretend for a second that Harrington was a white Ole Miss student and the black transgender Jimmy J. Lee got murdered by the white student. It would be a hate crime. It would be transphobia, racism, bigotry. The Freedom Riders would be down here. Everything. But it's just it's another black on black crime. So, crickets. That's what you hear there. Crickets. Anyway, bunch of weird people, man. Weird people. I don't know. Have y'all seen? I hate to talk about somebody after they passed away, but you know what kind of situation have you got yourself in? You think Timothy found out the hard way that Jimmy J was not a female? All right, getting a little off track here, but I have to mention these things. You have to mention these things because they take every opportunity to ridicule us about this stuff. So whenever it happens to them, you have to ridicule and mock them to no end. They say that me getting on this radio station and talking about or even questioning trans men or trans women can get them killed. Meanwhile, they're out doing it. They're the ones out killing the trans people. Not me. They're doing it. Whew. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break real quick. We're going to come back, land the plane with a little fun for today. I was trying to Google something last night, and it did not go as expected. I'll tell you all about that on the other side of this break on the Clay Edwards Show. Breaking rules when necessary. Just got a text in from somebody on the Guns and Gear text line. Says they went out to Raymond Farmers Market over the weekend for my buddy Lonnie. It was actually on Facebook. But he sent a text and said they went to Raymond Farmers Market over the weekend, got the tomahawk ribeye, said it was phenomenal. So y'all keep that in mind. Get out there. They're closed on Mondays, but get out there and support Raymond Farmers Market. Go follow them on Facebook. See what the menu looks like and follow them for their specials. And, of course, they're always had the farmers markets open, too. It's more than just a restaurant. You can go out there and you can buy ribeyes or steaks from the butcher. And they got the farmers market there with all the vegetables and whatnot. Right there on Hines Boulevard, right across from the football stadium there at Hines Community College. Great folks. Great folks. All right, so last night I was going to have a little fun this morning on a whole nother topic. I Googled how to stop being a racist. And I wanted to see what Google, since everybody loves to call folks racist. I'm like, well, how do we stop being racist? I'm sure some white liberal has told us how to stop being racist. But I got to typing on Google and I got how to stop and I put the letter B in. And it gave me all of these crazy suggestions for what the B should be. And if you have kids in the car, you got 5 seconds to plug their ears or to change the station. You got 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So I was going to say how to stop being a racist. Number 1 was how to stop bleeding after sex. Number 2, how to stop burning sensation after urinating. Number 3, how to stop brown discharge. Number 4, how to stop bloating. Number 5, how to stop binge eating. Number 6, how to stop bleeding. Number 7, how to stop bad period smell. And number 8, how to stop breakthrough bleeding. That was an all-out assault on my senses. Like, is it so much of all that going on that it is the top of a Google how-to search? What are y'all doing out there? Behave. Ugh. I can't even believe I did that. What is brown discharge? I think I know. Never mind. There's warning labels for that, isn't it? They call that leakage, I think. Anyway, look, man, this has been a fun show today. Serious show, sad show. The family for Brad Pennington has set up a GoFundMe for their son's education fund. I've got it shared on Save Jackson, Facebook, and Twitter. And I think WLBT just sent out a push notification with a story about it, so I'm sure they'll have a link to it. Also, if you can find it in your hearts to donate, that would be great. Brad Pennington was the mail carrier that was killed by the criminal that decided to run from the police Thursday in Jackson. So be mindful and try to help out if you can. Let's see here if I got anything else that I want to hit in this last minute. They banned the word groomer, so you know we're on to something. Anytime Democrats start banning words that describe them, you know we're above target. And there was a California couple was arrested for leaving bikes in the front yard so they could lure criminals, beating them with bats and then posting on YouTube. I like that energy. I think some of you folks down in Fondren and Belhaven, y'all should do that. That'll get them. Lose some bait cars and just beat them with bats and put it on YouTube. Make an example out of these little young Democrats. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.